Should you use margin or should you not use margin? I'm going to talk about my personal investing style and kind of get into a little margin talk. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper. All right. You know, for some reason, this is a hot button topic, right? Either you're for margin or you're against it. Well, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm impartial to it, but let me say this first. I don't use margin. I don't borrow any money for my account. I just use the account, use the money I get from working my company, and that's that, right? So that makes me comfortable. And you have to understand, it's all about what makes you comfortable as an investor. Now, there are some benefits and negatives to using margin. For me, the risk outweighs the reward, particularly when the markets continue to rip up. Now, maybe I'm a cynic, I guess, or whatever, but I've been through so many corrections and crashes and bubbles or whatever through the years that I've seen what those have done to people's accounts throughout the years. And I do not want to put my family in that position and be one of those guys I see on Reddit, right? I do not want to be that guy. So for me, and me only, it's too risky for my particular plan. Now, that's not saying I wouldn't use margin, but let's kind of start here. What's the benefit to using margin or borrowed money of any kind? Well, you're going to grow your account much faster. And if you're a dividend investor, that means more shares and more dividends at a much more rapid rate. And hopefully the dividends you receive, if you did it properly, will pay for the margin that you used, right? It's that simple. And from that perspective, you can look at it and say it's a no-brainer. What happens is when the market keeps going up like it does, people get euphoric and they never can see the downside. That will inevitably happen. When will that happen? Nobody knows. You're seeing all kinds of YouTube videos telling you that the market's going to crash any day. Guys, people have been saying that for months. And we just never know when it's going to happen. But for me, I don't want to be caught on the back foot having margin when the drop inevitably will occur. So the benefits are you grow your account rapidly, you get those dividends much quicker, life is good. But no one's thinking about the negative aspects of what could happen. So what happens if it goes down or we have a major correction, and it goes down? Well, I mean, you're going to have to sell assets to pay for the margin debt. And right there, that's not something I personally am interested in, right? The market's already going to be in a drawdown when that occurs. So now I'm going to sell assets at a loss to compensate for the money that I borrowed. Guys, that's not for me. Now, people could say, Mike, you don't have any balls. It's not about balls. It's not a freaking game to me. It's not like we're high school kids and I'm trying to get, tempted by someone to do something. Peer pressure has no effect on me whatsoever. It's all about protecting my family. And for me, high yield dividends, I guess, are risky enough for me that I don't want to throw the added risk of margin. But yeah, if the market tanks, you have to sell off assets to pay for the margin debt. And that is not something I am interested in whatsoever. Selling assets, that's not for me. Now, because I've been through so many corrections and crashes, I'm always planning that that's going to happen because it will. So for me, I keep cash on the sideline. As the markets continue to rise, I sell assets for profit, not for losses, like if you were to get margin called, right? I sell for profit as the market's going up. Matter of fact, I sold FEPI like a week or two ago, something like that, because I was up so much in it with dividends and share price appreciation. Sold it, took profits, put some money in cash, deployed money elsewhere. Just sold QDTE Friday. Why? The markets continue to go up. I was way up on that thing in dividends and share price appreciation. Sold it for profits. AMSI. I have bought and sold this thing so many times, and I swing traded. I constantly am trying, as the market's going up, to pull money and deploy some of it and then keep some of it in cash. Now, here's the downside to not using margin is you have to, for me, I have to keep a cash position. Why? Because when the market does drop or there are dips, I need buying power to make that happen. So for me, it's important to keep a cash position. And don't let nobody tell you that cash is not a position. It is absolutely a position. You're saying, Mike, your cash isn't working for you. Well, not currently. It's not working for me. But if the market drops or we get a pullback or correction, then yes, the cash will be working for me. It's all about how you tactically employ that money. Now, why would I sell something like FEPI and QDTE and maybe even AMSI? Because I believe these things, when there is a drop in the market, I can buy them and then they will go up with the market. No, they're not a growth fund. They're not going to go up just like their underlyings. However, they will go up. And it's been proven through dips that these things will do that. So I'm comfortable selling things that I could buy back at a lower price when the inevitable happens. Now, would I ever consider using margin? I would consider it not as a market is going up. For me, that's not a tactically sound decision for my personal plan. When I would deploy margin would be when the markets have really dropped and there's been a lot of blood in the street and people are freaking out. I don't want to use it when people are euphoric and cannot see a potential market correction, right? I want to use it the exact opposite time when the markets drop, like there was a COVID crash or a whole down year. For me, that would be the time, if I was to ever use margin, that I personally would deploy that strategy. But even then, I don't know if I'd ever use it, It would have to be something pretty major. And the market's really going down and there's so much panic that no one can see the market ever going up. Much like now, no one can ever see the market going down. That's just kind of how I work it and my thoughts and just my personal investing style. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper, out.